Childhood in the 1800s wasn't protected. It was productive. Kids were expected to work almost as soon as they could walk. Factories and mines filled with children because their small bodies fit where adults couldn't. 12-hour shifts were common. Injuries were normal. School was a luxury most families couldn't afford. There were no real child labor laws, so business owners treated kids like replaceable parts. Childhood smelled like coal smoke and oil, but at the same time, the world was changing fast. Steam engines, railroads, and telegraphs turned quiet villages into industrial cities. Progress came at a brutal cost, and children paid it first. The Lost Generation, born 1883 to 1900. This generation entered adulthood just in time for World War I. Teenagers traded classrooms for trenches filled with mud, gas, and artillery. Millions died before they reached adulthood. When the war ended, the relief didn't last. The 1918 flu pandemic killed tens of millions worldwide. Then economies collapsed, jobs disappeared, and poverty spread. Writers later called them the Lost Generation because their youth had been consumed by war, disease, and instability. Direction was hard to find when the world kept falling apart. The Greatest Generation, 1901 to 1927. Kids born in the early 1900s grew up during the Great Depression. Families lost jobs, homes, and savings. Children quit school to help their parents survive. Then World War II arrived. Young adults were sent overseas while families at home rationed food and fuel. Over 60 million people died worldwide. But when the war ended, this generation didn't collapse. They rebuilt. Cities, economies, and global systems rose from the ruins. Their resilience reshaped the modern world. Baby boomers, 1946 to 1964. After World War II, birth rates exploded. Soldiers came home, families grew, and optimism returned. Suburbs expanded, televisions filled living rooms, and childhood finally included comfort and fun. Boomers grew up with rock and roll, pop culture, and increasing freedom. But they didn't just enjoy stability, they challenged authority. They protested wars, pushed civil rights forward, and reshaped social norms. Growing up secure gave them the space to demand change. Generation X, 1965 to 1980. Gen X grew up during rising divorce rates and working parents. Many were latchkey kids who came home to empty houses and learned independence early. Their childhood mixed MTV, arcades, and blockbuster movies with Cold War fear and economic uncertainty. When they entered adulthood, jobs weren't guaranteed, so adaptability mattered. Gen X became the bridge between analog life and the digital future, producing many of today's tech leaders. Millennials, 1981 to 1996. Millennials grew up as the internet took over daily life. They remember landlines and dial-up, but also smartphones and social media. They were pushed toward college as the key to success, only to graduate into economic collapse. Student debt soared. Jobs were scarce. So they redefined success, choosing experiences, side hustles, and digital careers over traditional paths. Millennials turned the internet into opportunity and reshaped culture online. Generation Z, 1997 to 2012. Gen Z never had to adjust to technology. It was always there. Smartphones, Wi-Fi, and social media shaped how they communicate and learn. They also grew up hearing about climate change, school violence, and mental health, which made them socially aware at a young age. Teen activists, creators, and young entrepreneurs became normal. They multitask constantly and process information fast, adapting quickly to change. Generation Alpha, 2013 to 2025. Gen Alpha is the first generation born fully into a digital world. Tablets replaced chalkboards. Smart assistants answer questions instantly. Some learn to swipe screens before they could write. They're growing up with AI, automation, and global issues as everyday realities. Technology isn't entertainment, it's infrastructure, and they use it effortlessly, often faster than adults. Kids born after Gen Alpha may grow up in a world that feels like science fiction today. Transportation could leave the ground. Education could be instant. Technology might move from pockets to minds. They'll inherit powerful tools and brand new challenges around privacy, identity, and what it means to be human. But history shows one constant truth. Every generation adapts faster than the world expects.